Okay, so I'm going to attempt to say something quite subtle, and I guess the title of my video is a nuanced defense of angry internet guys. And I've made enough YouTube videos to know that this is the kind of content that falls on deaf ears. But I still wanted to do it because a lot of the reason why I'm making these videos is because it's mostly to practice making arguments and especially unconventional arguments and debating, and I'm getting used to speaking uh, sort of in an improvised way and defending points in a somewhat coherent fashion and keeping my train of thought. Anyways, so yeah, what I'm talking about is quite subtle, and even though, yeah, I don't think it's the kind of thing anyone wants to hear, I'm still going to try to make an argument to see where it goes. So, angry internet guys. I don't think there's a lot of people, anyways, that are cheering for dudes such as this, I think commonly called trolls or fanatics or the dogmatic or whatever, obsessives. And up until very recently, if you would have asked me, you know, about trolls, I would have said, "Oh, they're absolutely awful." And I think even I was quite preoccupied with what trolls were saying, and I felt really bothered by the fact that people say offensive things, and it bothered me. It upset me, and I became quite preoccupied with it. But during the Trump campaign, I guess, if you want to, yeah, the Trump Hillary presidential elections in 2016, I became so preoccupied with trolls that I tried to, fight Trump trolls, and that probably sounds very silly, or what I thought were trolls, and I tried to combat what I thought was, terrible thoughts or whatever you want to call it. But what I sort of realized while interacting with the troll culture is that, I think most of us know that it's not all that serious, first of all. And the people trolling, some of them are very serious. There are real fanatics, but there are also people that just say awful things because it makes them happy. It improves their life in that they have a means to get through catharsis. And I don't know if you remember this, not everyone does, but there was a South Park series of episodes about trolls, and they show that, I don't know the name of the character, Stan or something, and he's very happy after he's trolled, and I don't remember his name. It's a father, and they sort of, all the trolls that I was sort of fighting at the time, that probably sounds a little silly, uh, we're laughing at the fact that they felt so good, um, after trolling, and so that's weird. And so I also I didn't exactly come to agree with what they were doing, but I did try out making socially unacceptable content, on YouTube or on 4chan or lots of places, right? Not that many. And what I found as well is that there was, in some ways, a very therapeutic element to doing this. It felt good to publicly be kind of an asshole, like on the internet. It was it was enjoyable to get out of, angry thoughts, miserable thoughts, ignorant thoughts, even very paranoid thoughts, and indulge in feeling persecuted, and all sorts of things that in polite society it's very frowned upon. And so if you looked at especially some of these videos, these first videos I've made, you could probably even you would probably get the impression that some of it is trolling, and if you actually listen to it, it's not. Maybe it is. It is just pure trolling, but it's not as black and white, I think, as you might first believe. There's nuance, and I try to go back and forth and consider both sides, but the title is sometimes quite controversial. So, anyways, I got some of this ugliness out of my head. Out of my head, and it improved my life more than anything else I've been able to find, such as writing in a journal, or the typical therapy tropes that I think we're all familiar with at this point, or many of us are familiar with. And so from there, I thought, well, if saying kind of crappy things is helping me, well, maybe it's helping other people. There are other people that their lives are improving by saying awful things, and that sounds really awful and stupid. And it's like, that doesn't sound fair, because you say, well, shouldn't everyone try to get along and be polite? And so it's sort of been eye-opening for me personally, because I look at it and I was so upset and preoccupied by what people were saying when they were saying miserable things, but then I saw how nice it is to say those miserable things on the internet, and I know you're probably, that's not fair, you shouldn't be doing that, but then it all of a sudden created a new respect for other people that do it, and that maybe that's what it is, what these angry internet people are, is that at least some of them are people that actually are good intention and at their core good people, but in order to blow off some steam, to get shit off their mind, they say really ugly things on the internet. And so I don't know if you can say, well, that's okay, because there are also people, right, that really upsets them, that you say something upsetting, and of course it upsets them, right? So but I'm trying to think of for a moment. But yeah, I think, see, what's happening is there. I don't know if it's a majority or a minority, but there are some amount of people that when they say words, they mean them, and they believe they are what those words are. And then there's also probably a minority of people who use words, especially on internets or public forums, and they don't actually believe the words they're saying. They're just using those words because they're interested in words and reaction, human emotion, human life. They're just interested. It's a role playing or a fantasy, or just they want to get awful thoughts that they do have out of their minds, because in some ways it's probably there is truth to it, but they want to have a place where they can vent their anger. So and so that's another subtle thing, is that, like, when you say something on the internet or anywhere, are you that thing for thinking, saying those things? Or if you surf to a certain part of the internet, do you believe those things because you visited a website? Or are you just interested in something from like a distant perspective? So when someone visits a website that would be considered, reprehensible, are they actually reprehensible, or are they just interested in something that is considered reprehensible? So for example, say like a men's rights activist website. Like, is every visitor to a men's rights activist website reprehensible? Like, or I shouldn't even say, are they men's rights activists, or are they interested in what men's rights activists are saying? So I shouldn't say reprehensible. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, is every person there that thing because they visited that website, or are some of them just trying to learn a different perspective and wouldn't consider themselves those things or the opposites? So, it's the same with trolling. Is like, because someone's saying something, does that make them what they're saying? And I think for some people, the answer is absolutely yes. That you are what you say, right? You speak the truth and only the truth, right? But for some people, there's a game to it, and I think it's very easy to say, well, those people are psychopaths, or those people are sociopaths, or there's something fundamentally wrong with them. But if you sort of interact with words for long enough, you kind of start to get to the point where you see that words, it breaks down. It gets fuzzy on the edges. It's not so black and white. There's nuance and subtlety, and there's reasons why you use words without actually meaning what they mean, like actually intending to mean anything from, or actually being what you're talking about. And so it's and even the words that you're using are quite limited. So I need to wrap it up because I'm not verified here. But say even if something is pure evil, I guess that my final argument is, so like, say someone is an evil troll, and I think we shouldn't run away from those words, because we become ignorant of what the counter argument could be to those pure evil words. Or even worse is that we can accidentally become what that pure evil is. And I see that a lot in our society, in that people are often repeating behavior from groups and societies that are so taboo that we're instructed not to read about them or know what those groups actually say. A lot of people end up like repeating or having values close to taboo groups because they've been instructed never to look and see what those groups are saying. And I think if in some ways it's better to just look and see what are these evil groups saying, so you can say, okay, well, I'm not gonna repeat their actions or their values. I'm not gonna become that. You have to. It's in some ways hard for some people because there is propaganda can be very persuasive, right? But ultimately, you have to look at it and make a choice. You have to make a choice with yourself and say, well, if this is wrong, then I'm not going to be that. And if you don't even know what it is that the wrong thing is, then you can't make that choice. And so that's why, as terrible as it might be, we still have to look at and deal with undesirable, angry internet men. Anyways, I have to stop talking.